Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Seeing as I got great reception on the last few build videos, I figured I would continue on the train showing some builds I've been using this season. Ark Warlock has been revitalized this season with a few simple changes. The fact that Amplified gives you damage resistance and the new Ionic Sentry. So essentially you pick up stacks of charge. I think it's about 6 stacks or so, and then you get a little grenade guy that you throw out, and it blinds enemies and sends um, ionic traces back to you, and it chains enemies. It's just an extra nice little thing. So I'm gonna do a two-in-one build. I've got two Arc Warlock builds today. One using Vesper of Radius, one using Geomegs. I'm gonna show both setups to you, and I've got gameplay for both as well at the end. So we're gonna start with Vesper. So this is a more blinding oriented. This is going to be better in higher end content, to where Geomegs is a much more run and gun high DPS setup. So we'll start with the Vesper setup. So this is all about blinding. So we're using the Hunter Glaive Edge of Concurrence as the exotic here. This thing's gotten a big glow up. This thing's going to jolt enemies when you damage them, and you also have the Lightning Seeker, which is when you click 6 charges, by aka do 6 instances of damage, you can shoot at a Seeker. Overall good, and then we get a machine gun on and a sidearm for our champions. Vesper Radius is the exotic here. So essentially, while running Arc Lock, this thing is going to blind and do chunky damage to enemies nearby you when you throw your rift down. Alright, let's get into Ark Warlock here. So we are running Storm Trance. We are going to be able to get this back really fast. They made it so you get your roaming supers back really quick in one of the last updates. So this is going to be great for, uh, you know, uh, just good general ad clear. Storm Trance is pretty solid. We'll be using Chaos Reach in the other build, but you can run either super here. I just prefer Storm Trance for this setup. Healing Rift is a must with this setup. Very important. Run whatever melee you prefer. I like Ball Lightning. I think it's better. We're running the Flashbang Grenade here. So this build is all about blinding enemies. So the Flashbang Grenade will work really well. It'll blind enemies. Our new Ionic Sentry will also blind enemies when you hit them with it. We have Arc Soul. So whenever we put a rift down, we get a strong Arc Soul. That'll just add to our damage, and our teammates will all get Arc Souls. Good all around. Our Fragments. So defeating blinded target with precision damage creates a blinding explosion. So when we're using a machine gun or sidearm, as long as we're killing them with crits, they will explode because we're going to be blinding them with the flashbang or with our rift. Or arc weapon final blows have a chance to give you bolt charge or an ionic trace. This helps us get our abilities back. Okay, the spark of beacons. While you are amplified, your arc special or heavy weapons have a chance to create a blinding explosion. So that's just more blinding explosions, just allowing us to blind more enemies, and then resistance to give us damage resistance. Pretty simple stuff. So this allows our Edge of Concurrence and Watchful Eye to blind enemies. The Watchful Eye is from the new activity. I've got one with jolting feedback, so you will jolt enemies when you damage them. It's good for ad clear, good for damage, very good perk. Pretty simple setups here: Kinetic Siphon, Arc Siphon, and Dynamo, since our grenade isn't really doing damage, so we're going to be spamming our class ability near enemies, so Dynamo's nice. Gloves, just 3 things to get our abilities back. Firepower isn't the greatest for this, but it works good enough. Vesper, I'm just running reserves. Our boots, I'm running 3 things to get our abilities back. Then our bond distribution, since we're going to be using our class ability a lot, and Reaper as well. And then a bomber to get our grenade back quicker. Overall, the gameplay loop of this Vesper setup is to pop our class ability near enemies. Since another perk about this is when you're near enemies, your rift recharges very quickly. and just overall blind every enemy in sight. This is going to be far better in harder activities to where blinding enemies is useful. But our other arc setup here, fo- focused on geomegs, this is more of your traditional glass cannon Ark Warlock build. This is about just running through your enemies and just absolutely mowing them down. Um, I don't have these stats correctly spread yet here since I just threw this together. Same thing with the drip. Ignore that. But I've got the mods and the weapons and the abilities. We need Chaos Reach because Geomegs got reworked to allow you to um, get your super back really fast when you pick up Ionic Traces, which this build will get a ton of them. And then there is a new effect where sprinting while near max bolt charge will grant stacks over time. It's not a lot. You won't really notice it, but it's just one of those things that goes on in the background. So it'll also make our chaos reach last longer as long as we're holding it onto a target. Both of the supers jolt enemies, so they will stun overloads. Not to mention uh, our grenade will as well. But we're running healing rift. We're running all the same things here, except we're running pulse grenade and not blinding grenade with this setup. This is a far more damage-oriented grenade. It does good damage. You could run storm grenade if you wanted. It just uh, they both are great, whatever one you prefer. We're running Ionic Sentry again. This will get us tons of Ionic Traces and gives us Bolt Charge. Instead of running Arc Soul, we're running Electrostatic Mine. This gives us way more, you know, Ionic Traces. And that's exactly what we need with this setup, is Ionic Traces. Our fragments. Okay, we have Spark of Beacons again, since we're running a special arc weapon to blind enemies, and when you defeat blinded enemies, this gives us Ionic Traces. Spark of Ions, defeating jolted targets, or targets with Bolt Charge creates Ionic Traces. So we're running the Pulse Grenade here with Shock, which jolts targets, so that'll create Ionic Traces. And Spark of Magnitude. This makes our grenade last longer. So everything here, we're going to be pumping out tons of Ionic Traces, which is going to be feeding into our super. And our exotic of choice here assists with that. So what this does is Tempest Cascade, collecting Ionic Traces, overcharges this next weapon shot, jolting on hit. So as you can see, all these things have tons of synergy. So the main perk here, defeating a target, the Ionic Trace will reload this thing from reserves as well. So this thing, as you pick up Ionic Traces, makes this weapon even stronger. This weapon has a chance to generate Ionic Traces. Powerful foes will always generate it. So this thing makes so many Ionic Traces when you get kills with things. Not to mention, once you start jolting targets with this Tempest Cascade perk, it's going to create tons of Ionic Traces because the weapon has a chance to create an Ionic Trace. Electrostatic Mind has a chance to create the Ionic Trace. The Ions has a chance to create an Ionic. And Beacons, since you're going to be hitting blinding explosions, reprocking Electrostatic Mind. So sometimes you get like 3 Ionic Traces for one kill. And I think you get like 18% of your super back or something crazy like that with Geomegs. I just ran the Legend Lost Sector, and I got 3 Chaos Reaches in 3 minutes. Like the entire Lost Sector only lasted 3.5 minutes, and I used 3 Chaos Reaches. That just shows you how crazy you get your super back. Our mods are pretty similar to the last setup. Kinetic Siphon, Arc Siphon, and Ashes is far better here. We don't need Dynamo anymore, since our grenade will be getting more kills. We have the same glove setup as last time. Our chest piece, same dealio. Our boots, we're running stacks on stacks to get armor charge quicker. You could also run, Absolution again. I just figure that you throw your grenade far more often with this other setup. And then the Bond, Powerful Attraction, Bomber, and Reaper. So this setup is far more grenade oriented because Ionic Traces give you your abilities back too. Like they do more than just feed everything. They give you your abilities back in chunks. So you also get to spam your abilities with this build. This is your classic glass cannon build. It does tons of work, especially in the new activity. So I'll catch you guys in the gameplay. I know this was kind of long-winded, but I hope you guys enjoy these two setups. I'm not sure if I went over this, but the artifact mods with this build, you definitely want to be using them. There's a ton of good Ark mods. These four right here, very good. So keep that in mind when running these activities. Alrighty, so we're starting with the Vesper of Radius setup here. So this is a far more, I don't know if passive is the right term because they're both kind of glass cannon setups here. This build is the blinding setup. So you are going to want this in activities to where you're not just going to insta-kill every enemy, you know? Even in this Legend Lost sector here, the enemies are pretty frail. Like, you mow down most of them. But the blinding is still really nice. As you'll see here, everything's blinded around you. It's taking chunk damage, you're getting bolt charge. I mean, you're going to get so many Ionic Sentries with this setup. And, pretty simple gameplay. I mean, you are playing Ark Warlock at the end of the day, so you are still pretty frail. Like, this is not like playing Prismatic or Solar or Void. You are a glass cannon still, but this is more survivable than the Geomags, I'd say. Like, you're better at controlling the room, you know? Not saying that the other one isn't that survivable, it's just when you're used to Prismatic Warlock, which I'm sure most of you are at this point, you're not gonna... You're gonna feel it. Like, I've been playing almost all Prismatic Warlock, so you gotta play a little bit more conservative here. So I'm trying to use my ability here, since I'm gonna use my super, and I'll get all my abilities back when my super ends. It does good damage. I mean, they buff Storm Trance a lot. You get it pretty quick. Might as well use it here. It's not very good boss damage, and so this lost sector is really short. I still got my super really fast. Like, we're literally 2 minutes into this lost sector, and I've used my super. Like, you get the Warlock supers on Ark really fast. So, not as quick as Geomegs, but, like, don't think this build doesn't still work, like, for general gameplay. Like, this one's definitely a good one to have in your arsenal. The Hunter Glaive is really good, as you'll see. Basically using it as my primary. It does really good damage. It's a far more powerful than the Void Glaive at just pumping out damage in its normal form. As you see, our long range damage isn't great with this build for this boss here. I'm just trying to run around for my life to survive. So as we pick up things, whatever they're called, orbs of power, sorry. They'll give us healing through our boots. It's about our only way of healing on this build, other than our rift, which, to be fair, will be in a lot. So that's the main way of staying alive. I pop my super here to keep myself alive and try to prevent myself from dying. You get big damage resistance when you're in your super, if you didn't know. But I figured I was gonna die here, which I did. I was kind of in his face from using my super, but it's not a big deal. I mean, you're gonna die on Ark Warlock. That's the nature of the setup. As you see, this is a really good example of the blinding that happens. Essentially renders all these guys completely useless. Very good crowd control. It's a very good setup. It's not quite as powerful. I definitely think the Geomegs is a better setup for most content, but like for a Grandmaster Nightfall, this is very good. That's where I used this last. So I'll catch you guys in with the geomegs. Alrighty. Not too much to say here. We're getting to the end of the video. This is our last section of gameplay. This is with geomegs. Geomegs is insane now. Like, this is probably the best exotic of Warlock for Ark Warlock, I should say. It makes you get your super so fast. I mean, as I previewed, we are going to get 3 supers in essentially 3 minutes here. Before this first room is even done here, we are going to get a Chaos Reach. Just watch that super bar climb as we kill stuff here. We already have it. Like, it came up that fast in 40 seconds into this, and like a good 10 seconds of that was just standing there waiting for that door to drop. So we might as well just keep using a super off cooldown since we get it so much. So this overload champion, yeah. If you cancel your Chaos Reach early, you keep some of the charge, by the way. That's why I canceled it there. And I kept, like, almost a little under a quarter of that super. So that's a good thing to keep in mind. We just want to keep using Delicate Tomb here. It's going to absolutely give us insane things. Our heavy weapon will also give us good ionic traces and good super energy. So just keep pumping out damage. Our bolt charge went off. Blinded myself there. But we should be able to get a super. Another thing of bolt charge went off, doing tons of damage. And as you'll see, we are rolling. This is a Legend Lost sector, mind you. I know this one isn't that hard, but we are easily rolling through it. I've just run this Lost sector like 4 times in a row. At this point, and these stupid explodey shakes keep getting me. But yeah, as you'll see here, he still killed me. But overall, this build is going to absolutely go to town on any content. I don't know how it would do in a Grandmaster. I have not tried this build in a Grandmaster before, to be honest with you. But these solo Legend and Master Lost sectors, I've ran on both difficulties with this setup and have had no problem on a handful of them. So I can't imagine a GM would be too hard if you have the right teammates with you. I've run this in the dungeons before. I mean, I'm sure this would be fine in a raid. I don't really do raids much, but this thing is probably great for everything, because there's very few builds in the game to where you can get your super this fast. Like, we're 2 minutes and 50 seconds in, and this is my 3rd super up. So in less than 3 minutes, we had 3 supers. And part of that 3 minutes was me being dead and behind a wall, waiting for it to come down. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you're enjoying these builds, please subscribe, especially if you waited and watched all the way to the end of this video. Thanks for watching, and watch how much super energy I get from this group of enemies. Insane. See you guys in the next one.